Hey y'all, it's me, Rashawn Ali, and we are back. Yes, officially back with a brand new season of the Cool Soror podcast with cool sorors and maybe even a cool bruh in sports, entertainment, and media. Hello, good people. It is another edition of the Cool Soror podcast. I am your host, the one with the most, East Side, Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the Cool Soror podcast. How are you? Yes, you are going to laugh. You might even cry, but you will certainly be entertained by each and every one of our guests. Everything is brand new set, brand new energy, and it's a brand new you because you will definitely be changed by the content that we have created just for you. I'm super excited. You are going to love each and every episode. Yes, we look good. We do what we do. Oh yeah, and we represent the HBCUs and of course the Black Greek letter organizations. What you gonna do? You're gonna tune in to the Cool Soror podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the Cool Soror podcast on YouTube and make sure you do the same on Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, and also Spotify. Yeah, you can find us anywhere. It's the Cool Soror podcast hosted by me, Rashawn Ali.
My name is Natalie Jackson. I'm a civil rights attorney, a military veteran, and a small business owner. I'm running for Congress to represent Orange County in Washington. There are many people running for Florida Congressional District 10, the seat being vacated by Val Demings as she runs for higher office. I'm here to convince you why I'm the best candidate for this district. I was born and raised in Central Florida. My parents were public school teachers and community activists. After high school, I enlisted in the Navy and eventually earned an ROTC scholarship to Hampton University. For 5 years, I served as a naval intelligence officer. My first duty station was aboard the USS Roosevelt, where I was among the group of the first women who were allowed to serve on a combat carrier. Then I worked in military intelligence with the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the Pentagon. From there, I went on to earn my law degree at University of Florida. After graduation, I came back home to get justice for people who had been accused, abused, and harmed. When Trayvon Martin was murdered in Sanford, I served as Ben Crump's co-counsel to get justice for Trayvon and his family. Since that time, I've worked with Ben on cases like Breonna Taylor, Andre Hill, and several right here in Central Florida. My advocacy has helped change policies in the Orlando Police Department and the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Achieving change is difficult. It requires more than just good intentions and well wishes. It requires duty and service to others. It requires maturity. It requires problem-solving skills. And most of all, it requires the ability to build consensus among differing views. A few issues I want to address in Washington include affordable housing and health care, protecting our environment, protecting democracy and voters' rights, criminal justice reform and civil rights for all, education reform and economic recovery, and of course, supporting our veterans. I'm battle-tested and I'm ready to represent you in Congress. That's why I humbly ask for you to vote for me on August 23rd in the Democratic primaries. I'm Natalie Jackson. Thank you.
I'm Natalie Jackson, Democratic candidate.
Previously on the TJ Chatman Show.
What's happening, family? It's your main man, TJ Chatman, back with another episode, man. Listen, we're back, and you're probably wondering, like, wait a minute. Where Morgan at? Well, Morgan took the day off, much needed because the kids go back to school tomorrow. So you guys know about the beautiful twins she has and getting ready, them young men getting ready to start back to school. So, she took the day off to make sure that they're good to go for next week. So, but we got a jam-packed show tonight, man. We have every year that it's election time, the primaries, I want to do something, for the community to make sure that, the candidates' voices are heard so that you can actually, put a, face with everything that they've been going through to make sure that, hey, if this is the right candidate, for you, because change happens on the local side. Most people think it's like the, presidential election. No, it ain't gonna even reach there. It starts right here on the local side. So we got four amazing candidates that are going to be on the show tonight. And to my left, It's this young man. He like see he got a drink that's called Liquid Death. You ain't gonna catch me drinking it. But anyway, it must be great to him. So how you doing, sir?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. And before we get started, we just have just a couple of church announcements I'd like to call what's happening in Orlando, and just want to make sure that everybody knows what's happening in the city of Orlando and what's popping and how everything's going to happen. So I'm just going to run this down real quick because the kids do go back to school tomorrow. Whether I believe it's Orange County and Volusia County and all the surrounding counties. Maybe they start next week, but I know my cheering, they started on Monday down in Fort Pierce. So I drove myself down to Fort Pierce, make sure my kids got to school on time. And then, my younger son, he starts school tomorrow. So, best of luck to all the kids out there. And I'm gonna just run down a couple of, events that are happening. This Thursday, August the 11th, you got the DJ 305 annual Black and Gold Leo Bash. Celebration is gonna happen at Dream City, featuring the 69 Boys. This is something that my main man, DJ 305, puts on, every year. And it's always a sold out event. So, you better hurry up. There's only a couple of tickets left. Listen, it's gonna be a grand finale. And then, of course, it's the return of Happy Hour on this Friday. Nellie Nell's 50th. Actually, Nellie Nell's, her birthday celebration is going to be a 50 Shades of Green celebration. The first drink is on us. Make sure you RSVP at the Happy Hour Part 6.eventbrite.com to get it right now. And then, of course, the next day on the 13th, we have her birthday celebration continues at Lake Eola. At the Eola Lounge for Neo Soul, hosted by my good friends, DJ Mello, Yellow, and P-Funk. They're going to be in it. And then, of course, that next Thursday is Taisha Williams' all-white splash of yellow birthday bash. And it's going to be at the Experience Live Event Center right next to the Dream City Theater. And then, of course, on the 25th, Bites and Brew Business Mixer. If you tune into the Business is Good podcast earlier today, Lawrence Martin was on the show talking about it, and that's going to be a great networking event that, hey, if you want to get your word out there, whether you're, running for office, whether it's, just networking, just to meet other different people to get what people know about you. Come on out. It's August 25th, and that's going to be a great event. Then, of course, all my ATLians, we're going to be out there for the Cool Soror and the Cool Bruh Atlanta, the HBCU MEAC SWAC Kickoff Classic is happening in Atlanta at the Republican, and tickets on sale right now, so visit it. And then, of course, on the 27th is the Emmett Combs Realty Investment Seven-Figure Summit featuring the Breakfast Club's very own DJ Envy, and it's happening at Champions Gate from 11 to 2, followed by the VIP Celebrity Pool Party. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be dope. That's going to be off the chain. So you can find all this information, on my social media platforms. So you don't definitely want to miss it. I just want to dive right into it, man, because this election year is
it's brutal.
It's brutal. I'm glad you said it. So let's welcome Chris Delgado. He is running for the Orange County Commissioner, District 2.
Yes, sir. District 2 County Commissioner seat.
Wow, that sounds big. That just sounds big. Who did you bring with you?
This is my bodyguard that we got going around. Now James is a man. He oversees all the groundwork we're doing in District 2, and what's great is he tells me when he's in neighborhoods, whether it's putting up signs and delivering signs to our supporters, hey, you need to swing by and meet these people. And so I get to come by and meet voters face to face in their homes a lot. So James is the man behind that machine.
Wow. So James, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, TJ.
Man, we talked about it last week.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I met Chris here prior to this campaign, and the big thing that drove me to him was his community first initiative, that he's about the community, out in the community, as well as his love and drive to help small businesses. And so that's what pulled me in. And so we've been out, putting out signs, meeting people, and trying to do our best to get the word out about Chris Delgado and his community first campaign.
Wow, that just sounds amazing, because we people just want to know who you are and what it is that you do. So what better way than start with that? Tell us about yourself, Chris.
Yeah, I'm a local business owner in the Apopka area, and my backstory. I used to, let's say 13 years ago, clean toilets and flip burgers for a living, and made myself into corporate America. Learned how to do marketing and operations for big corporations. Started my own business, helping small businesses scale. That's why I have such a love for small businesses. We're still considered a small business, and just the local impact you have in your employees' lives, in the community, really in the surrounding area. As a small business you have, it's why I think it's the best foot forward when you support small businesses. You're really supporting schools, you're supporting teachers, you're supporting that local environment that's created, which is why I have such a love and passion for it.
Wow, that is awesome. So, the profession that you talk about, and how has that, helped you out in you running for the Orange County Commission District 2? How has that helped you propel yourself for this position?
It really comes down to people and connecting to people. And I think it's why, we've only been in the campaign's been happening for the last year when people have been able to file, run. And we launched about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and connecting with people, being involved in the community, shaking hands and having face-to-face with individuals is why in the last month and a half, our campaign is the talk of over 5 congressional races right now of how we've been able to garner, our last event we did where we did a back to school drive. We gave away over 500 backpacks to the local community in Orange County. And I don't mean to say like, look at us, we gave away all this stuff. It's the messaging. It's being able to connect with people. It's the ability to deliver on the needs that they're asking, which I think is the focal point. And it's very, very, very important.
Wow. And like most candidates, they have their own type of core values that allowed them to, get into a particular position. So I'm going to ask you, what are your core values?
Family, forthright, and I think family also includes your neighbors and your community. And my value is, or my core values is, anything that I do will have an impact in my immediate family or the surrounding area or the people that are involved in my life. And that's why I hold it in such high regard, is that my ability to support them and hold them in that high regard is, I think, draws us back into being such a family-centric person. So I would say family is a big part of my core value. I think the other part too that goes hand in hand is giving back. In my essence, there's nothing that brings me more fulfillment and joy than giving back, whether it's to my friends, to my family, to my community, whatever it might be, is having a servanthood heart.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And one of the things that's important when it comes to deciding what campaign race you want to run for, how has things been for you since you decided to run for the commissioner seat for Orange County, especially knowing that you'll be running against the incumbent Christine Moore, as well as Sandra Fatmi-Hall, who were basically the original only candidates that was running against her. So talk to us a little bit about that. How has it been?
Repeat the first part.
Oh, yeah. How has things been since you decided to run for the District 2 commissioner seat?
Yeah. We've received such a great response, entering the campaign, and, really what drew me to enter the race, and I'll give credit where credit's due, and that is on Sandra's part. The first time I met Sandra, we've had nothing but great experiences. She does run a good organization that gives back to her local community, and so I did acknowledge her for that. For Miss Moore, she's the reason I entered this race, and the reason for that is, right now we have rent control on the ballot. We have a sales tax increase that's going to raise your sales tax in the county by 3.5%. And you said it earlier. You said it earlier as far as with the impact that it's going to have in people's lives is your local election. Yes. The presidential elections, the Senate elections, those are federal policies. Yep. But your local elections is what's really going to have a drive. So when you talk about that, what drove me to enter this race is, you have policies coming to these communities that need help. And when you make a conscious effort to inflict financial pain on a family that's just coming out of pandemic, I think it's time to that person needs to be challenged and replaced.
Wow, that's amazing, because a lot of people, get in races that, they feel like, oh, you know what, I can do this or I can do that, and not really do for the people, because people say politicians are poly-lying. They're poly-liars. They don't do what they say they're going to do. So one of the things that, later on, because we got some questions coming in, from our viewers, they have a couple of questions that, that they want to ask you. But before we get to that, just want to know, like, what are some of the current issues that you feel, passionate about that will make you a great county commissioner for District 2?
I think using my business experience, like, what have I done in my past, and bringing a business-centric approach to District 2, to Orange County and District 2 specifically is, we don't have any developmental plans. We don't have big businesses coming in, which is going to bring higher wages, the Targets, the Costcos of the world. There's no incentives for these businesses to come in. When these businesses come into town, they now support smaller businesses. And so you're talking about employment, you're talking about higher wages. When you start talking giving away developmental incentives, you're talking now affordable housing. And think about when we say affordable housing, it has such a bad connotation. But look what affordable housing supports: your teachers, your law enforcement, your nurses, your healthcare administration that go into these communities. So bringing a business-centric position to District 2 is going to bring everything that each community has been asking for: is sustainability, not having higher rent, having higher paying jobs. And that's my focus right now.
Wow, amazing. So we're going to go to some of the questions that our viewers are chiming in on. And the first question they asked is, why did you decide to run for County Commissioner District 2 after previously wanting to run for the open Apopka City Commission seat?
Yeah, so that's how this all started. So that's crazy. That's someone knew that.
That knows you.
Yeah, someone that knows me. So the person that's running for C3, Kyle Becker, me and him have very similar views when it comes to business, when it comes to city development, county development. And one thing that's happening right now, what drove me to actually run for county instead of city, is right now we have a disengaged commissioner that doesn't reach into the cities and doesn't work with the city commissioners, because there are city guidelines. There are city rules and county rules, and the county can't just dictate what the city does. They have to work with the mayors and the city commissioners, and that is non-existent right now. And so one of the big factors is you have a person who is on the bench who can win this election in the city role, and you have someone who can win the election in the county role and can bring true change to each area. And that's why I chose to run for county and not city.
Wow. Okay. Well, speaking of that, wow, they are definitely coming in. So the next question was, with you now running for Orange County Commissioner District 2, do you support the annexing South Apopka into the city of Apopka?
Should be one Apopka. It shouldn't be, this is South Apopka benefits and this is Apopka benefits. Apopka growth is only crucial if it's one Apopka. So, there shouldn't be a fight of this person receives treatment over that. And it's probably not a popular opinion, but when you're talking about someone whose goal mission is to impact your individual lives, having a one Apopka, there's not a South Ocoee or a south of Pine Hills or a south of Eatonville. It's one city, and you've seen dramatic change grow because you can implement policies and growth as one rather than worrying about the different laws and changes of each annex.
Oh, wow. That's funny you said that when you said Pine Hills, because the next question came up and it says, if elected, how will you serve the Pine Hills area that's been so underrated?
I know exactly what.
Underserved.
Yeah, I know exactly what they're saying. You have, and I will only quote this because it's factual documentation that can be brought forth. You have a current sitting county commissioner that won't even visit Pine Hills or Eatonville because they won't vote for her, and that is the wrong way to govern. You whether you vote for me or not, I'm still gonna come knock on your door. Because my policies will impact you directly, and I want to hear directly from you. So going into Pine Hills, it's really going into the communities, and that's what we're doing in our campaign, and finding the struggles that each individual community needs and addressing those and implementing those. And what's beautiful about Pine Hills is there's so much room for development. There's so much room to bring in good paying wages, bring in sustainability and affordable housing, and that is going to be a crucial part of the growth of District 2.
Wow, that's amazing. And like I said, we got a packed show, man. We can go on for hours and hours, but we do have other candidates that they want to come on and say what they want to say to get that vote. So how can the people follow you or donate to your campaign?
Yeah, you can find all our social media links at votechrisdelgado.com. That's votechrisdelgado.com. You can connect with me there, and that is my direct phone number actually too. That's on the website, so you can actually give me a ring and talk to me directly. So votechrisdelgado.com.
Wow, and make sure you guys go right now to it's early voting. It's now until August 21st. The polls open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you're not sure what to do, how to do it, or when to do it, just make sure you guys visit www.ocelections.com/early-voting for all the information that you need. And Chris, thanks for coming on the show. Best of luck to you. And guys, when we come back, coming up next is Natalie Jackson, and she's running for the Florida State Congress. So come on back and hear what she got to say. And remember to keep it locked. The best is yet to come. What's happening, family? We are back, man. And listen, the show is just getting started, man. If you guys missed, Chris Delgado, man, I'm going to have a rerun on the show. It's going to be aired on our YouTube channel page. So don't worry about it because this next candidate, she's real dope. She's real dope. She's from the city of Sanford.
Go Bokeh.
Bokeh, you already know. And I met this young lady, during AKA weekend, doing the boule, and
Ski-wee.
there it is. She had to get to him. Yeah, I love it. And so it's kind of like, okay, I remember you, and you're hosting it. You're one of the hosts of the Diamonds and Pearls event.
Yes.
The all white. And it's like, you know what? Let me talk to you for a second. Come on, be on the show.
I know, and that was a dope event that you all did, TJ.
Yes, and it was fantastic. And I was like, you know what? People need to know who you are if they already don't know who you are.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to welcome Natalie Jackson to the show. And I don't have any sound effects, but I'm gonna put some on the back end. But
yay! Thank you. This is such a beautiful studio. I am so honored to be here and on your show. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. So just for a little bit, for those who don't know who you are, just tell a little bit, about you. You got to get,
Okay. I'll give you the little spill. I'll give you a little spill, but so my name is Natalie Jackson. I was born and raised in Sanford, Florida. Went to Lake Mary High School and Seminole Community College. Didn't know what I really wanted to do, so I joined the Navy at 18. So I enlisted in the Navy. My first duty station was Keflavik, Iceland.
What?
Listen,
you're from Florida and they sent you somewhere cold as hell.
I didn't even know snow was wet.
Wow.
I thought it was just fluffy. So I learned real quick about snow. And I remember watching an airplane out in the snow, and I said, you know what? College ain't so bad. Let me go and see if I can get an NROTC scholarship. So I got an NROTC scholarship to Hampton University in HBCU in Virginia. Also in Keflavik is a little cold. I had my son. So I had my son when I was 20 years old. So he went to school with me. I say that to tell you that, of course, I'm running for Congress here in Congressional District 10. And I understand a lot of the issues that people go through because I went through them. I was 20 years old, single mother. I had housing issues. I had to decide, was I going to send my son to daycare, take him to school with me or not, or miss my job? So I had to do all of that and try to figure out housing, try to figure out how we were going to pay for stuff. So that's one of the reasons I'm running, is like to make people's lives easier. So I ended up graduating from Hampton. I graduated from Hampton in 3 years. Because I needed a job, so I couldn't take the 4 years that other people took. I had a child, I needed a job. I got commissioned in the military. Okay. So I was a naval intelligence officer. I majored in African American history, and I became a naval intelligence officer in the military. One of my first jobs was a Middle East analyst. So it was my job to analyze the geopolitical situation in the Middle East. Okay. And one of my first duty stations was aboard the USS Roosevelt. That's important because it was the first time women were allowed on a combat vessel. Really? Yeah.
Oh, that's a little known history for me. I ain't know that. Wow.
And so from there, I went to the Pentagon. I was on the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. I did a little bit of something.
I let you humble myself. I see. Okay.
So, well, I say that because I do have federal experience. I worked at the Pentagon. I worked on the Joint Chiefs of Staff for 2 years, working on a secret project there that is not so secret anymore, because you can buy the technology we worked on now at Walmart.
Oh, wow. So it ain't too much secret. I see.
No.
Okay.
And then after that, I went to law school at University of Florida. I opened my law firm in Sanford, Florida. I opened my second law firm in Orlando. It was called the Women's Trial Group. I don't know if you remember that little building on the corner.
I remember.
So we had, it was to represent women and their children who were injured by people. After that, we started doing civil rights cases in about 2004. I did a lot of civil rights cases, but the biggest civil rights case that people around here know about is Trayvon Martin with Ben Crump. I was the family co-counsel to Trayvon Martin with Ben Crump. Yes. But I know you got some questions about some local cases that I did that I want to talk about.
Definitely going to get to that one.
Yes. And so from there, I've just been working on cases. Ben and I co-counsel frequently on cases with him all around the country. I've done Breonna Taylor with him. I've done Andre Hill with him in Ohio. I've done Robbie Tolan with him in Texas. And then I've done a lot of cases here in Orlando with my firm.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
All those things I'm talking about, from the Pentagon to the, wow. And speaking of the Pentagon, because one of the things that I'm interested in knowing is that how will your work as an advocate, naval intelligence officer and a civil rights attorney help you in Congress, and what makes you different from the other candidates?
Well, I did business for 20 years. I've had a small law firm here. I've employed many people in the area. I have done change policies outside of politics. For instance, I worked on the Pine Hills barbershop raids. My law firm did that case. I don't know if you remember that case, TJ.
Oh, I remember. I wanted to talk about the barbershop raid and Tory Breedlove.
Okay, let's get. So let me finish this and what makes me different then. So I'm a small business owner. I'm a military veteran. I am a civil rights attorney that does policies outside of politics that we're going to talk about. So all the things that each one of my competition, they do individually, I do that combined, and I do it without being in politics. I did decide to get into politics, and I don't know if you're going to ask me, but I'm going to go ahead and tell your people why I got into politics. Yeah. I got into politics after seeing January 6th. So when I saw those people...
Sure, I didn't answer that question. There.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that. When I saw those people storming the Capitol with Confederate flags talking about this their country, that was triggering to me. It was triggering to me because, number one, I spent almost a decade in the military. Number two, my father died in Vietnam fighting for this country. Number three, my ancestors built this country on the blood and sweat of their backs for free. They don't get to claim America. Nope. They don't get to claim this is their country. This is my country. I'm very proud of it. I understand how Black people can be disappointed in America and the things that have happened, but it's up to us to make America be the country that we want it to be. I have lived in 16 different countries.
16.
I've lived in 16 different countries.
I've only lived in one state.
And I have seen different countries, and trust me, America's pretty good. When you go to all these different countries and you compare the living there, I've been in Turkey where there was a fascist government. I've been in Israel where there's a police state and people have to go into the military when they're 18 years old. I've been in Keflavik, Iceland, where 13-year-olds, 16 years old, as soon as they finish high school, they leave the country because they no jobs and they don't have any opportunity. So when we look at this, we as Black people can be disappointed in America, but don't cede it to those people. No, we're going to fight for America and make America become the country that it promised us it would be in the Declaration of Independence. We're going to fight, and we're going to make sure that those people don't get to keep America. We the patriots. Our ancestors built this country. You do not get it, Trumpster.
Ooh, what? See, that's why I do this show, y'all. Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is now.
I'm gonna tell it like it is.
So now the road that you're running for, because a lot of people, do get it confused, including myself.
Yeah. So
so I was like, hey, Florida State, Congress, District 10, and like, no, it's not on that level.
No. So
Let's talk about it.
I'm running for the federal government Congress. So I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives. Congress is a federal. It's the federal entity that runs our federal government. So you have the Senate and you have the U.S. House of Representatives. Now in Florida, we also have the Florida legislature, which is also divided into the Florida House of Representatives and the Florida Senate. That's why people get confused sometimes. Yeah, okay. So there's a state level and then there's a federal level. So I am running for Val Deming's open seat. She's running for Senate here in Florida. I'm sorry, she's running for Senate, for the U.S. Senate to represent Florida. We want her to win. Go out and vote for her. She gotta beat Marco Rubio. And I am running for the House of Representatives, the seat that she left open. So there is nobody that is in that seat. There's 10 of us running for this seat.
I seen it. I seen it. And there's a lot of y'all out there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely because. Everybody decides to run for a particular district for, their own particular reason. But how important is it to be able to relate to the district that you're running for?
Oh, I think it's really important. I think every district is different. So obviously we live in a tourist area. So the pay is not as high as, say, if you live in an area where there's a lot of Silicon Valley, let's say that. Yeah. So here in our area, we have to deal with pay issues. We have to deal with affordable housing issues. We have to deal with making sure that everybody we have a lot of older people too. We have to deal with making sure that they can afford their medication and making sure that they can get the health care that they need. So, and then we have a lot of young transplants. So you got to really know this district. Young transplants who come here and they got student loans we got to talk about and we got to deal with. And then you have also a very diverse community of, people from everywhere, from Haiti, from Jamaica, from Puerto Rico, from the United States. So now how do you service all of their issues? And that's why it's really important to know your district. I'm a third generation Central Floridian. Yes. So I have been here. This is all I have known as far as, how people interact with each other. So that, to answer your question, very, very important. And some people, you really have to live in this district to know this district.
Wow, that's amazing. And like everything, we want you to succeed. We want you to get elected.
Thank you.
So, with that being said, if you're elected to Congress.
Well, can I talk about my Pine Hills barbershop race? Because I think your people will like that.
Oh, we got to come back to that.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to tell you.
Let's talk about Breed Love and the barbershop race.
All right. So the barbershop race, this is really important to me because I'm all about small businesses and I'm all about making sure, especially Black businesses, small Black businesses, because that's usually the hub of our community. And that's really how people are able to feed their families. And small businesses are the hub of the nation. That's what the United States was built off of. So we really have to protect this. So what happened was the Orange County sheriffs, they decided to do a joint raid with the Florida entity, Florida Department of Business and Regulations, looking for illegal barbering. So what they did was they brought all the drug DNA dogs into the barbershops. They did like these SWAT team type raids into the barbershops, looking for illegal barbering and to inspect the barbershops. Obviously, this did not happen in Winter Park. It did not happen at Supercuts.
And it didn't happen in Windermere. It didn't happen.
No.
Come on with it now.
No, it happened in Pine Hills.
Exactly.
Well, we sued on behalf of the barbers. We won. I'm sure you've heard of something called qualified immunity.
Yep.
They tried to
Which they
claim
need to get.
qualified immunity. We won and got over qualified immunity.
Yep, absolutely.
And so they appealed that. We went to the 11th Circuit, which is one step away from the U.S. Supreme Court. We won again. Our barbers got paid, but more importantly is that we changed the laws. Those kind of raids cannot happen in Florida anymore.
Look at that.
That's one of the issues that I can tell you, that I've been changing policies here in Florida outside of politics since I've been working as a civil rights attorney here.
That's why she need to be. That's why y'all need to vote. Put in that seat. Telling you, change gonna happen. She's already demonstrated that she can make change
Here in Orange County. And the other thing, of course, you mentioned Tory Breedlove. Tory Breedlove was a young man that was unarmed. He was in a car. The Orange County Sheriff's Department shot over 130 bullets into his car, killed him. The bullets went into the apartment complex of low-income black people with no regard. They shot, some people said there were bullet holes above their children's cribs. So once again, we sued. We got laws and policy inside of the Orange County Sheriff's Office change, which said that they do not shoot into moving cars unless there's a threat, and the car cannot be the threat.
and the car cannot be the threat. Say that again for the people in the back.
And the car can't be the threat. So, that's an example of two of the cases that my firm has worked on. We are currently working to help women who are on Section 8, who are being defrauded by these large apartment complexes and their greedy landlords. And we're working to help them. And we have a lot of cases going on. Ben and I have cases over in Brevard County, police shooting cases. And this is the work that I do. This is the work that I like to do. I want to go to Congress because we have more resources to fight in Congress.
Definitely. Because Natalie, I'm actually, talk with you, behind the scenes, because there's something that I've been wanting to do for the longest when it came to, policing, and realizing that there's a lot of, law enforcement officers that, swore an oath to protect the Constitution, and some of these stops has no regards. It's like almost if they don't care about your constitutional right.
Right.
The First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and it's kind of like, Florida's not a show me ID state. So why do I need to show you my ID? But I ain't going to get into all of that. But
I get what you're saying, though.
I want to be able to have something like that.
Yeah.
And to be having an open discussion to really discuss these certain things and where it starts. And like you said, you change policies for the Orange County Sheriff's Department because of what was happening. And of course, it starts from the top, whether they know it or whether it's like they know it and it's like I don't care nothing about what you're saying. Because we got qualified immunity. Right. So anyway,
no, thank you for that. I get what you're saying, and I think that the way first we have to change how we think about it. These aren't police officers are government agents, so they work for the government. They're agents of the government, and they're licensed. They have the ability to take your life and liberty. So they owe us in a democracy transparency, fairness, and equality. Being a part of the government. So that is what government does for us. Government is to make people's lives better. That's why you have a government, to make your lives better and to make sure that we are not impeding on personal freedoms and rights. Wow,
that's dope, and we'll talk about that later when I want to do that. But like everything, once you're elected, what are your first year goals, and how will you go about accomplishing those?
So in Congress, you have to have a consensus, right? I'm only one vote of hundreds. So one of the things that I would do is go around to build consensus. My goal is for young people is to get rid of the student debt that you have. Our students we have young people who are starting their lives in debt. They never get out of it. It becomes a hopeless situation. We have predatory lending. We need to make sure that we are preserving the future for young people. The next thing that I would do is make sure that the Affordable Housing Trust is fully funded, meaning that the government is giving money to these states to build affordable housing and having regulations to do it. The third thing that I would do, and this is why lawyers are important, what is happening, the reason we have inflation is because competition is being stifled. Let's go back to small businesses. Small businesses they breed competition. When you have these large corporations going and crushing small businesses, you don't have competition, and the large corporations can price gouge. And that's what we're seeing here now with gas prices. We see it in homes and stuff. You can see Zillow, they bought up large swaths of homes, and then they set the prices for them. And so without competition, without having small businesses, that's where you get inflation. We have to regulate these. We have to regulate these large corporations and make sure that they are not impeding on what true capitalism is. Because right now, what is happening is that you're having this type of capitalism that is actually, destroying our economy, and it's not growing our economy. So I would toughen up our antitrust laws and stop these large corporations from crushing small businesses. And I would make sure that SBA is funding small businesses, especially Black businesses, and making sure that we get a piece of the money that is going and bringing it back to this district.
Wow, that's amazing, because now I got people chiming in, wanting to know how can they donate and where can they follow you at, because it sounds like they got some cases that they want to.
Well, let me tell you, the election day is August 23rd. Mm-hmm. We are now in early voting, so go out and vote for me. My name is Natalie Jackson. Yes. I'm in Congressional District 10. My website is www.nataliejackson4congress, and the 4 is spelled out, FOR.com. We're looking for volunteers now. We need donations to pay canvassers to get some more flyers and signs up, but we got 14 days. So if you don't have any money, go to my website, nataliejackson4congress.com, and volunteer. Help us wave signs. We need people to help wave signs. We need people to knock on doors. This election is crucial. We're at a precipice in democracy in America. And if you don't know this, if you don't see our rights being rolled back left and right, the rights that our parents fought for, and that we are really in a struggle for the heart of it and the soul of America. And I will tell you, in 1967, Martin Luther King asked the question. He said, where do we go from here? Do we choose chaos or community? We owe it to young people, and we owe it to the future generation to choose community and to fight for this community and to fight for democracy, to fight for equality, to fight for fairness, to fight for the fact that all men are created equal, to fight to make sure that that America lives up to its promises in the Declaration of Independence.
And let the church say amen. The doors of the church are not open.
Thank you, TJ, for having me.
That was fantastic, and wow. I don't need to say no more. The doors of the church are open.
Thank you.
Early voting is happening now to the 21st.
Yes.
Polls open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Go ahead and visit the website.
Yes.
If you don't know what to do, how to do it, where to go, just go ahead and go to that website and cast your vote. Natalie Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank your audience. It was an honor. I appreciate you, and hopefully you'll vote for me on August 23rd.
Enough said. And remember, come on back. We got more candidates left. And keep it locked. The best is yet to come. Let's go.
Welcome. I'm here at the Omni Hotel and Resort. I'm your broker, Emmett Combs with Combs Premier, and I want you to lock in this date, August the 27th. Yes, August the 27th, we're hosting our first 7-figure real estate investment summit. Guess what? We have a celebrity DJ. Yes, DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club as our keynote speaker and moderator for this explosive event. And that's not all. We also have Sherelle Rosado from Selling Tampa. We have Miko Fountain, the top 1% realtor out of Atlanta. We have Trey Williams, the celebrity realtor. Out of Atlanta, we have Boom Man himself. Mr. Raise $1 million in 90 days. Yes, he will be on the panel. We have Shanti and Gary Hoffman, luxury real estate specialist out of LA. Miss Brand Ambassador for Rolls Royce LA. Come on, man, this is an opportunity you do not want to miss. August 27th, make sure you lock that date in. Our first 7-figure real estate summit going down right here, August 27th.
What's Chatman family, we are back, man. And listen, man, this is, and yep, y'all see me, putting the purse under the seat. That's all right, though. But anyway, we're back, man. And just like that, she's no stranger to the show. This is her second time, and this time it's closer to the election because I remember you were just now getting started.
That's correct. A year ago.
Last year, and you wanted to, go ahead and get people acclimated to what you were doing.
Yes.
And before it was just you and the incumbent.
Yes.
At the time.
Yes.
And then earlier today, we had, the latest, candidate that came in.
Yes.
On the show within the same district that's running for it.
Yes.
And so we just want to dive right into it because some of the things that people talk about when it comes to different races is finding out what are the core values and how have those core values prepared you to be able to run for the Orange County Commissioner District 2.
Okay, my name is Sandra Fatmi-Hall, running to be your next Orange County District 2 Commissioner. And I think it's important for people to know that I grew up with a solid background. Both parents, although I lost my mom at a young age, both parents instilled from an early age the importance of having integrity, the importance of being truthful, putting education, and absolutely giving back and being a servant leader. So I think those are qualities instilled from an early age that helped me to be the successful adult that I am today in the community. If I were to take the time to choose a few words, to speak about who I am and as a person, I am an advocate for the community. I am an activist. Yes, indeed. A game changer. Right?
Yes,
and absolutely. And the passion that I have for this community is like no other. And I've displayed that not just within the last 6 months, but for the last 12 and a half, 13 years that I've been here in this community. And I think it's important that we look into servant leaders because it makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
Some may ask, what has Sandra Fatmi-Hall done in this community? Where do I begin?
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Yes.
You've done a lot.
Where do I begin? Let's start with when I got here 13 years ago from Atlanta. I moved from New York, then I moved to Atlanta. I started in banking, and I moved here as a bank manager. And as a bank manager, I was responsible for $93 million total footings in the bank. $93 million. That is a lot of money.
I just need $1 million.
Okay, no, don't just say what you need. Ask for what you really, really want.
Right.
And with that $93 million, I was able to invest back into the community. SBA loans for the community. That's extremely important for our small business owners because they help communities to thrive, right? That's extremely important. And got connected with the community to help to let them understand the importance of not putting the money under the mattress, but making sure that it's in the bank so that we can use that money to make more money for the community and give back in the community. So that was pretty important. So I took those leadership skills into being the president of the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce, right? President of the Pine Hills Community Council, which is the largest advocacy group here in Central Florida, over 75,000 residents. Right. And I was also simultaneously the president of United Foundation of Central Florida, which is a nonprofit that I started almost 9 years ago.
Have mercy.
Now, when that nonprofit was formed, it was formed to give back to the community and empower communities one family at a time. And I'll tell you, it grew from a grassroots organization to today. I'm actually really proud to say that we've taken that grassroots into a whole nother level. There are 3 vibrant programs that are under the United Foundation of Central Florida. One is our after-school enrichment and mentoring program, which has mentored over 600 young people in this community, right? And I'm proud to say that 200 of those young people went through our official program, and they're off to higher education, in the military, and off to our vocational school. They have to do something with themselves. Going through United Foundation of Central Florida, Future Leaders United, it's a non-negotiable not to do something with yourself.
Right.
The second portion of that that's vibrant on the United Foundation of Central Florida is our educational scholarship program. Over $200,000 has been awarded to the community.
Right.
That's helped to make this community better. So I'm extremely proud about that. And for our food insecurities program, over 3 million meals have been provided to the community. During this pandemic, you need a flexible leader.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
One that's not looking for something to do now, but one that's been doing something for years.
And that's the whole thing I've been trying to tell people. Like, don't just jump in the race because, like, oh, I can put my name in it. No, what have you done for me lately? Or have you been doing this thing,
For a number of years.
Number of years. And a lot of people haven't been doing it. And then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, I want to do this. Listen, you ain't been doing this thing.
Absolutely, it's important.
Yep.
It's absolutely important, and the community can tell. They can.
Oh, yeah.
It's not okay, and everyone that I've asked for guidance or has helped in any way has said, "Young lady, you have put in the work." So when someone asks, "What have you done?" It's you must have been somewhere, I don't know where, because, and it's not being funny to say that, because I've been extremely visible in the community, right, in making sure that the work that's put in transcends for the community to grow. Proud also of Evans High School. Graduation rate was 48% 10 years ago, and today, having the largest after-school program in the school with over 100 children, it is now at 97.6%.
Wow, Evans High School, right there, right in the heart of Pine Hill.
Absolutely.
It's like right there. So that was gonna be like my next question, like some of the things that you've done in the community. I mean, you just gave us all the accolades, of the things that you've done, and that's what is important to a lot of voters out there. It's not hey, are you jumping in this race because of what's happening, or what have you been doing leading up to this, and then you finally decide, oh, I want to do it.
Yes.
It's like you put the work in,
Mm-hmm.
you've been doing the work, and you're gonna continue to do the work, whether or not
Absolutely.
you don't get there. So that's the most important part. But what a lot of people want to know, though, is like, how do you differ? Which I'm sure you already said it, but I just want the people to know, like, how are you different from the current and incumbent county commissioner that a lot of people have been talked about, and it's been she's been the first female to hold this office, and this and this. All your accolades speaks for itself, but I just want you to tell the people on your own words, how are you different from Christine Moore?
Well, first, let's start with the biggest one, integrity.
Ooh, Jesus.
Right? Yes, let's just hit it straight out the box. Integrity. It's important that you have someone in the seat that actually cares about people. In order for you to serve the people, you have to love the people. I didn't say everyone, but you have to love the people. You can't just choose a certain segment of the community. District 2 Commission seat represents Apopka, Zellwood, Tangerine, Ocoee, Lockhart, Eatonville, College Park, and Pine Hills. Let's talk to the areas of the district that haven't gotten any love, right? And for the last 90 days, we're running around taking pictures and making sure that we're seen with individuals that don't look like them, right? So let's start with the integrity piece. So I'll say that North Apopka and South Apopka are like two different countries, right? That is not okay. Right? And that should not be something that's acceptable. Even by the first woman that's in the seat, it's actually not okay. Right? How about Pine Hills? We're not for sale. No. Eatonville, I'm going to say, is not for sale. There's a lot going on. But I think individuals have to understand, I think my bishop said it best, please stop falling for the turkeys and the backpacks. Right? We have to be so careful that we're making sure that we have sustainable individuals in the seat that care, not just immediate effects, right now for now, but sustainable for the long haul.
Sustainable in what you've been doing.
Absolutely. So integrity is huge. Let's say just a few minutes ago, I'm actually coming from the Board of County Commissioners meeting. There was a vote there. There was a vote there about making sure that we get an opportunity to put on the ballot about rent stabilization. We should ask how my opponent voted.
Wow.
That's extremely important. I just left the meeting, right? So it was 4-3, and 4 in favor of putting it on the ballot for November to let the people decide, are we going to give 12 months of rent stabilization for our community? Because we're hurting. So let's not get to, there's a possibility that the state might shoot it down or it may not go through. Let's start with opening some doors to make a difference for our community, right? So it's important for people to understand and take a look how my opponent has voted. Most importantly, you need to ask why she's voting that way. Follow the money. It's usually the case. Follow the money. A comparison has been done between our donations, right? And it's out there. It's out there for everyone to see and everyone to talk about. So it's important that we put leadership in place that cares. It's not a game. This is people's lives that we're dealing with. Number 3, when I think of who is actually going around taking down signs, something as simple as taking down political signs that everyone has a right to put. Now, we have to pay the game fair on the street. And that fair game is, don't put your signs in front of other people's. Don't take them down. Don't run around with them. Don't accuse people of taking your stuff. You're the ones doing that. So there's a track record. I'm going to put this out there today. There's a track record of, oh, absolutely. I've been accused of being very vocal, but I speak the truth, though. And I do that because I don't want to remember what I said, right? That means if I tell the truth, that's what it is. So I remember back in 2018, we had a hobnob. And I was the president of the Pine Hills Community Council at the time. And there were 37 candidates, and all 37 paid except one. Take a guess who didn't pay? that hobnob, right? So when we talk about integrity, when we talk about transparency and making sure that we have leadership in place that we can trust, it's extremely important. And there's no denying that, because I remember on all of the shows that I ever watched that were legal shows, it said, it's not a defamation, it's the truth.
Yeah, defamation is the truth.
It's the absolute truth. So there's a lot more differences. I don't see the color of anyone's skin. Right. I work with individuals on both sides of the aisle because it helps our community.
Yes.
Right. So we can't say that we want to be in elected office and not be there to be fair. Wow. Right. That's extremely important. Let's just get this out there.
That's why they call them. That's why some people call politicians liars.
That's correct. And that's why I don't want to be called a politician. I want to be called an elected official because I'm elected by the people to serve the people. That's extremely important that we understand. And there's so many other differences. We have to make sure that when we say something that we're going to do, that's what we do. Amen. I'm a person of my word, because that's all you have. Don't play games, because games will be played with you. Absolutely. Right? So I don't do that. I am as straight as they come. So just looking at the vote just today, there's a reason why she had to vote that way. Follow the money.
That's it. Follow the money. And I mean, what better way to to say it, because you speaking transparency, you speaking truth, and sometimes people don't like the truth because they say truth hurts.
Yes.
And sometimes it does. So, but the last question I do want to ask you before we get out of here, once elected, okay, that's usually the the positive spin to getting into that seat.
Sure.
What are some of the changes you would like to make once you make it into office?
Well, the first one is very simple. Start listening to the people. I have so many complaints, so many letters of individuals that have reached out to the current occupant of the seat. No response. Absolutely, totally ignored.
Wow.
I mean, the letters are there. There's paper trails. You do know that you can follow the emails that are sent to it's public information.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So that's the first thing. Let's start listening to the people. Let's start having some meetings, right? Not gatherings with people paid and they're just showing up to show support. No. Let's start listening to the constituents that are writing to you, that are reaching out to you. It makes a difference. People want to be heard. So that's one of the very first things that needs to take place. If you look on anything that I've ever put out, it talks about sustainability and strengthening our communities. That's a huge platform that was brought to me over 11 years ago when I was asked to run for this seat. And I always said no. So this is not yesterday. This didn't happen last week. I didn't jump into the race 2, 3, 4 months ago. I was asked many years ago, and I accepted the assignment. I accepted the assignment because I live in the district and I know what I don't see. And if you can imagine what didn't take place for the first 4 years, can you imagine the last 4 years when there's no accountability? Then you would get nothing absolutely done. Second of all, it's important for us to bring affordable housing, the true affordable housing to the table. What does that look like? $1,900 per month is not affordable. People are working 3 jobs and still can't make ends meet, right? Public safety is number one. I've championed with the Orange County Sheriff's Office to work together to help our young people, to help our families bring about that trust again. We talk about community policing, but we have to make sure that community policing actually works. It actually brings about change in the community. We're too busy reacting. We have to be proactive.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And like from everything that the viewers are showing, it's heart. Transparency is key. She's speaking the truth. So the last thing I want to ask is, how can people follow you and donate to your campaign? Because this campaign trail ain't free. You need some donations.
Sure.
You need some, what they call American cheddar. How can they follow you and where can they donate?
Sure, absolutely. To find out more information about my platform and where to donate, it's www.sandrafatmi.com. That's sandrafatmi.com. It's extremely important that everyone understands that we are in early voting right now.
Yes.
You want to see change, you have to go out to the polls.
Absolutely.
You have to go out and exercise your right to vote. And I know it's sad that in this day and age, we're having this conversation that we have to tell you, go vote. But you can't sit back and do the same thing and expect a different result, right? That's not going to work, right? So you
want to see. Stop complaining.
Yeah, be the change you want to see. Stop. I'm not wasting time with anyone that just wants to talk to me about, oh, this is happening, that's happening. No. Do you vote? Can you vote? Are you registered to vote? I have lots of organizations that are partnered up with me to make sure that individuals can go out to vote. So there's a momentum behind me. There's a support. When you think of Sandra Fatmi-Hall, you think of the 3 Ps, passion, purpose, and people. It's extremely important that you put the right person in that seat. This is not a game. This is people's lives that we're dealing with here. So www.sandrafatmi.com is where I can be reached and where a donation can be made to help this campaign move forward. It's so that we can be the change we want to see in our community. And it's not just a cliche. It's something that's real, because that's what I've displayed all these years. I've accepted the assignment. Let's go. I don't have time for games. It's about people's lives. And I think it's extremely important for everyone to exercise their right to vote. Not bought votes, not people going around running trickery and doing all of those things. It's important for people to exercise their right to vote. So, Apopka, Zellwood, Tangerine, Ocoee, Lockhart, Eatonville, College Park, and Pine Hills, I'm talking to you. There's 143,000 registered voters. Don't get left behind. It's important. And guess what? I'm qualified to be your next Orange County District 2 Commissioner.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Get out and vote. Early voting is happening right now all the way till August 21st. Polls open 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And if you have any questions, concerns, or how to vote, where to go at, just go ahead and visit www.ocfelections.com/early-voting. And you can get all the information right there. Ladies and gentlemen, like I always say, my platform is your platform. Thank you for coming on the show once again.
Thanks for having me. I so appreciate you, and I really appreciate what you do. Thank you for educating and empowering your listening audience.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with our final candidate for this evening. It's going to be a quick commercial break. And you guys come on back. If you need to go to the Tinker Room, go to the Tinker Room, get your drink, because when you get back, we already going to be on set. So remember to keep it locked. The best is yet to come. Let's go. We're back. I told y'all, if you ain't done tinkled and told, we're gonna be right back. So joining us right now in the studio, this is the countdown, to the primary elections, and joining us in the studio right now, we do have Kamia Brown. Yes. All right, so we're gonna have to pick that mic up and talk like that, Kool-Aid smile. And you are running for the Florida State Senate.
Yes, I am running for
District
the Florida State Senate.
15.
District 15. Yes.
Wow. So so we're not gonna hold your time and be like the pastor. We're not gonna hold you long, but I'm gonna be like the pastor that really gonna get you out of here on time.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So the first thing I do want to ask is as a Florida State House representative, the experience that you had with that, how does that prepare you to become the next Florida State senator?
Well, I've spent about 14 years. I've sort of worked my way up to this to prepare me for the Senate. So I started in the process as an intern, and then after that intern, spent about 14 years working for the legislature as an aide. It was that time that prepared me to be a member in the House, to again know how to get things done. And in these 6 years I've been a state representative, I've been able to accomplish so many things. And again, it was those years prior that have helped me do that. I think, and also learning just the importance of building relationships in the process. In the Senate, things are done based off of, it's less bickering and fighting, because in the House, you got tons of fighting and bickering. Folks tend not to get anything done. And over in the Senate, it's more civil, and folks work together on both sides, to get things done. And so I've done a great job with practicing that in the House. And so just looking forward to being able to do even more in the Senate.
Wow, that's amazing, because the next question I do want to ask, because it's one of them things where, what makes you different from any other candidate, and it's kind of like, one of those corporate America jobs where, why should we hire you? Or, tell me, about yourself. Now, Geraldine Thompson,
Yes.
she's also, running for the same position.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go there.
Yeah.
How has that experience helped you, and what makes you different from Geraldine Thompson, and what her campaign has been, and why you're the best fit?
Well, I think just watching sort of this campaign process, there has definitely shown some difference in the sense of one who's willing to work hard. I've been out working hard. Folks have seen me. I've been in the district. She has not. And she's been able to, during her time in the legislature, she spent a number of years in the legislature, from the House, Senate, House. And, during the time previous, she's done some amazing things for this community, and we can never take that away from her. Howbeit now, just with the current makeup of the legislature and how things are done now, I'm more effective than she is. I have a 6 years record of bringing things home. Again, not only passing bills, but bringing home resources, money for after-school programs, exposure or things for our children, public safety items for our community, bringing reform within many of the health inequities that we have within our community. I've been way more substantive. I think a lot of times she has focused more so on history, but those things don't pay people's bills. It doesn't help people, with the day-to-day trials and tribulations that they have of raising their family and making sure they're able to thrive and be successful with what they're doing.
Yeah, so I'm always about changing with the times, and it's kind of like you
It's
can't
important
keep,
we do that.
You can't keep throwing the history, and history is great.
It is,
but you gotta.
It's important, but
change.
What else? And I think throughout my campaign and just throughout my work in Tallahassee, I've shown that the what else as well.
Yes.
I've been able to balance all. I'm not a one-trick pony, and I think in Tallahassee it's important, because there are so many issues. We got to fight with the governor. We got to deal with the inequities as African Americans and people of color. We got to deal with, again, having good jobs, making sure our children have just as good as an education than others in various other zip codes. I think those things are important, with making sure we have the balance, but also making sure Tallahassee is doing what they need to do to uplift the people in our community, our businesses, and making sure we get just as much as others do as well.
Right.
As other communities.
So do you believe that the work you've done, in the House Representative, do you feel that you've made a difference in that seat in the community?
Absolutely. I will say again, I have a passion to serve. And what I can say is in my 6 years of being elected, I have been very consistent within my community. Folks know me, folks see me. I may not be behind a camera or in front of a camera, but it's because I'm in the community doing the work. So not only passing bills in Tallahassee, but I'm also working within the community with various organizations. I'm making sure I'm educating my community, which many don't necessarily do. After we come from Tallahassee, let me go tell my district what I've been able to do. How are we preparing them for what's to come?
Yes.
How are we bringing in partnerships, and connecting with many of the contacts that I've made in Tallahassee with various groups that are coming or those that have the resources our communities need. I'm continuously and consistently connecting folks, boots on the ground. In Tallahassee, I've been able to do the same thing. I've been able to transform. When you're talking about the Office of Minority Health,
yes.
I've restructured that. Within the Office of Minority Health, we now have minority health liaisons in each of our county. When you look at the Black maternal health rate, and with Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die, here we are, one of very few states to have passed a bill that cost $243 million, I mind, that would extend postpartum Medicaid benefits from all before only giving you 6 weeks, now giving you a whole year of health care. Transformative. Again, saving lives. When you're talking about how do we have access to health within our community, student loan repayments. We're always talking about student loans and what Biden is doing to help us repay these loans. Right. Well, guess what? $10 million was placed in the budget this year to deal with paying back our student loans for many of our health workers. We have a shortage in doctors. We also have a shortage in nurses. But also, we have a shortage right in our community of us being able to access healthcare right in our community. This particular loan program will give them just, help repay their loans if they come and work within our communities. I think those are the impacts that we need to make. Yes. When you're talking about, again, our small businesses being able to thrive and scale, what you see is, women of color. They've continuously created business. We are the largest group that have been able to become entrepreneurs. However, they're the least funded and they lack many resources. Okay, so there's hundreds of millions of federal dollars that are coming down to the state. It's important that we make sure that these dollars, whenever the DEO is giving this money out, that they're giving it right. If it's supposed to really help our community, how are we making sure they know how it will help us? And I've been able to consistently, again, do those things, not just, again, on the chamber floor, but also, behind closed doors as well.
You've been boots on the ground
Absolutely.
From day one. That is amazing. And final question, which is the most important question. How can people follow you and donate to your campaign? Because I know the campaign trail ain't free.
Oh, hey, this campaign don't run on gold.
Let's go.
On coal, I'm sorry, it runs on gold. And so we need funds. We need, you can go to www.Kamia, Kamia, Brown, the number 4, Florida spelled out, .com. Again, Kamia Brown for Florida.com, and you're able to donate. Now, there are laws surrounding gifts.
Of course.
And so what you need to do is do that by next Thursday.
Oh,
after next Thursday, I can't take no more money.
Take no more money.
And so we got to win this campaign. It takes $5, $10, $100, $1,000, whatever is laid on your heart to give.
Laid on your heart.
You make sure you go ahead on and send us a little something.
So before y'all,
and then also we need volunteers.
Oh, you need.
So I need people waving signs from the heart. Give me an hour. Give me 2 hours. Come help me knock on some doors to help folks know that we now have a representative that will be there to represent us, not only in Tallahassee, but right here in my hometown, Orlando.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Early voting is happening right now.
Yes.
All the way until August 21st.
Yes.
The polls are open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you don't know how to get there, if you don't know what to do, just make sure you go ahead and visit www.ocfelections.com/early-voting for all the information that you need.
And I think it's important that if they let's say they forget, to go before the 21st. They still have the 23rd.
So you got 23rd. That's when
which is the
primaries
actual election day. So they can still vote on the 23rd.
Yep.
If you know any of our cousins that are going off to school or away,
Get them
you're
there before they get
still
off.
able to request absentee ballots. I believe we got a few more days to where we're able to still request those. But also, make sure you take somebody to the polls.
Take them.
As young people, we got to get engaged because our life does depend on it. So take somebody to the poll, whether it's a cousin who this will be their first time voting or ones who just got disinterested before. We need all hands on deck this election cycle.
Hands on deck.
And not just my race, but there are others. There's the gubernatorial race. We need a new governor. So we need help.
Absolutely. So if you're not sure, obviously there's more candidates, within this primary election. Make sure you go to votethewholeballot.com to see everything, to see everybody that's running for a particular party, or I'm sorry, not party, for a particular office. Make sure you visit votethewholeballot.com and you get to see everybody who's currently running for office. So next week, man, this is part 1 of part 2, which is going to be next week. And we got more candidates coming in next week, man. And I appreciate you guys' time, man. Listen, we are out of time.
Okay.
And I appreciate you for coming on the show.
And I appreciate you for this platform as well.
And like I tell everybody else, my platform is your platform.
Thank you.
And remember that.
Always.
And until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your main man, TJ Chatman. Keep it locked. The best is yet to come. Let's go.